This is Hailey Bieber's favorite skin tint. So in today's video, we're going to be doing an in-depth review, wear test, and demo of the brand new Hourglass Veil Hydrating Skin Tint. This is a little bottle of magic that promises to boost the skin's hydration by more than 50%. It promises a glowy, healthy, radiant complexion that actually still lasts all day. Loaded with skincare ingredients, meant to be really flexible coverage, very breathable, very natural. It's basically meant to make your skin look perfect, but without looking like you're wearing a foundation. Now, Hailey Bieber has been raving on about this particular formula, and apparently none of that has been paid advertising, which suggests she really does like this. And if I could in some way make my skin look as pretty as Hailey Bieber's, I mean, I'm gonna take that opportunity. Now, for my makeup nerds, here's a little of what this one is supposed to do. Dewy, healthy looking glow, boosts skin's moisture levels by 52%. It's meant to melt into the skin, comfortable all day wear, even skin tone, visibly plump and smooth the skin, provides continuous nourishment. Like literally all the things that this does just sound absolutely incredible. Lightweight, comfortable, sheer, glowy coverage is basically what we're working with here, and a whole heap of skincare ingredients. So this particular formula comes in 18 shades. It's going to cost you $49 USD, and when you pick it up, you get 35 ml of product. Now, I do happen to have this one in a couple of shades. I've got number 9, I've got number 8, and I've got number 10. I'm feeling like number 10 is going to be my best match. So apparently you shake this one up. Now, the website does recommend applying this with your fingertips. We know I'm not about to do that because I absolutely despise underneath my nails being caked with foundation. So that's not happening today. But let's have a quick look at the formula. I will also mention I did get sent this in PR, but obviously with no obligation to post or review it. And I do also have a little Hourglass brush here that they recommend applying it with. So I'm going to be a good girl and do as I'm told. Oh, that's a really nice soft brush. That feels amazing. Let's see what this formula is like. Interestingly, it's actually a fair bit thicker than I thought. I sort of thought that would be more like, I don't know, Dior Backstage face and body. But let's start buffing this out. Okay, so buffing that out on the skin. It is literally completely gone. That has not really given me any coverage whatsoever. I think most of it's like gone into the brush. So putting on a second layer of that product now. There we go. Yeah, I think basically that first lot sort of just primed the brush. So now I'm applying the rest to my skin. It does look really, really pretty on the skin. Very, very natural. Like, don't buy this thinking that you're going to get, you know, a medium coverage out of it. Even though it does say like flexible medium coverage, I would call this a light coverage foundation for sure. But it is genuinely like invisible. Like, my skin tone's much more even. Other than that, you can't really see it. Like, it is extremely natural looking. It's very pretty. Okay, I'm just applying it to the other side of my face now. Yeah, that's a really, really pretty skin tint. Like, I feel like a lot of the skin tints I've tried lately haven't really necessarily been true skin tints. Like, they've had way too much coverage to sort of be considered a skin tint, which, can I just preface, I have not been mad about. I do love me a full coverage moment, but this really is beautiful. It just makes your skin look so glowy and perfect, but without actually covering up your skin. And you can really stipple it. You can use buffing motions. Like, it seems to apply really nicely no matter what method you use. Definitely a low to medium coverage, but really pretty. Like, honestly, really, really pretty. Now, for me, and based on like the level of coverage I like and sort of how I like to wear my makeup, I would be probably pairing this one with a concealer, and that is what I will do today, just to sort of eliminate the redness around my nose. I will say I haven't helped myself in this instance. Right before I started filming, I ate the biggest bowl of like tuna and rice and salad, and I put that much chili on it. My nose was watering. You would have noticed my eyes were like bloodshot when I started filming because my eyes had been watering. Like, I think I went in a little too hard. She's a chili head, but she's not that much of a chili head. So my nose at the minute, to be fair, is a little redder than it is usually. But I think that's great because it really shows us, you know, just how much redness this formula can cover up. So I'm going to say it, light coverage, very glowy, kind of like a serum with a teeny tiny hint of color. Like it is a true skin tint. It is really, really pretty. Very dewy, very glowy. Does feel quite sticky and tacky on the skin. So for me personally, I'm definitely going to need to set this down with a setting powder. But that's okay. There is not a skin tint alive that I don't have to do that with. It's just sort of like a lit from within glow. Like, what do you guys think? How do you think this is looking on my skin? It's pretty, right? I'm going to pop a little bit of concealer underneath the eyes through the T-zone. I'll powder it, blush, bronzer, and lips. And I'll come back and show you what it looks like then. Okay, so I've got the rest of my makeup on and I'm looking very bronzy and glowy. I did do like a little mini tutorial for a latte, like the latte makeup look trend. I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. I think I'm definitely going to be doing this makeup again. But as far as the skin goes, I did put a little concealer underneath my eyes. I used the Kosas Revealer Concealer. I then used our Velvet Brightening Powder underneath my eyes to sort of lift and brighten everything, and then bronzed, blush, a little bit of highlight. I was feeling kind of weird right after I put the concealer on. Like I felt like, you know, when your makeup can look a little bit sort of feathery and you can sort of like see the powderiness on the skin, I felt like it was sort of sitting on the skin and not necessarily blending in that well. But now that I've set it down with finishing powder, it is looking better. It is a very natural, very glowy, low coverage formula, I will definitely say. But I feel like it doesn't, like I feel like my skin looks quite nice. It's definitely not really something that leans itself towards like a full coverage, like glam makeup, which is kind of what I've ended up with today, sort of. We're going to call this just Bronzy Glow. We're going to stick with that. Yeah, like I feel like it powdered down quite nicely. I don't feel like my skin looks as perfect and smooth and like minimized pores as it would with some of my favorite skin tints. Like I definitely think that this one probably even is going to be better off if you use this on the skin with a little bit of concealer underneath the eyes and you don't actually powder it down. So for oily skin types, I understand that's going to be quite difficult, but you know, it's certainly not the worst. It is very, very, very glowy. We're going full glow today. All right, guys, so we are back with our 5-hour check-in now, and truly, the first thing that I can say that is quite impressive about this formula, considering it is a moisture-boosting, hydrating, glowy finish style formula, is that I really am not as shiny or as oily as I expected to be. Like I haven't looked in mirrors downstairs, and I expected to get upstairs and sort of turn the lights on and look in the mirror and be like, oh damn, like just really, really shiny, really, really greasy. But it's not. It is shockingly not. Unfortunately, it might not be too bad. I just feel like it looks a little powdery and a little bit feathery on my skin. Like for whatever reason, it's not necessarily gelling into the skin as well as I would like it. It's just causing like a little bit of texture around my mouth. Like in the same way that I explained earlier, it was gorgeous pretty much until I went in with the concealer. Because I did put concealer on my chin down here and it just sort of, I don't know, it kind of just looks like it's splitting and like those two products aren't meshing that well together. Let me know in the comments what you think, but I just feel like it doesn't look as smooth or as perfected on my skin as a lot of other formulas. Like this one in comparison to the Maybelline 24-hour skin tint, I way prefer the Maybelline formula. Like I can already tell you that. I just feel like there's just more texture here than there normally is here. And it's kind of bumming me out. I might be getting like a little bit of texture building up just sort of down there as well. Maybe a bit of transfer too. I mean, it's not necessarily a transfer proof formula, so we can't really hold that against it. But yeah, I do think this is going to be one that you just quickly chuck on in the morning when you're wanting to be glowy and not wanting to put concealer or a powder on. Like I just feel like, yeah, that's where we're at. But I will keep wearing this and I will see you guys in hopefully another 5 hours, hopefully. All right, guys, so we are back with our final check-in. I have lasted until 10 hours. It's honestly so late at night here now. Again, the first thing that I am seeing is there really is a lot less shine and a lot less oil than I typically expected. Probably because if we think about how oily skin works and how it self-corrects dehydration with more oil production, perhaps because this formula is so hydrating and it does increase the skin's moisture levels by more than 50%, perhaps that is why my skin's like, okay, I feel comfortable today. I feel like I don't need to work overtime. With that in mind though, because it is such a glowy formula and it's got like this real sort of glowy finish, I do feel like my skin is looking a lot more textured than normal. Typically, mostly just around my jaw here, sort of on my cheeks. Like I feel like the pores in the center of my face look a lot more defined, and I can just sort of see texture. And this is me I'm about over half a meter away from a mirror here, and I can see it quite clearly. But overall, like honestly, it blends out in 2 seconds. It looks so beautiful and natural on the skin when you first apply it. For me, this one is going to be like a one and done. Chuck it on, go to the gym, chuck it on and go to brunch, chuck it on to run errands down the street. Like this isn't going to be a formula that I would lean towards, you know, when I'm wanting to wear my makeup all day or if I'm wanting my skin to look particularly perfect. Like I do feel like there's definitely a space for these formulas, you know, in your routine, but it really depends on what you are looking for personally in your foundation and in your skin tint. I personally prefer the Maybelline one over this one. I think that it gives better coverage. I think that it looks smoother on the skin. It still gives you that really gorgeous glowy look. But at the same time, the Maybelline one isn't a true skin tint like this one. Like this one is genuinely invisible. It color corrects and it sort of evens skin tone. Covers a little bit of redness, a little bit of darkness, but it does all of that whilst being very invisible on the skin and very glowy on the skin. And then when you start layering products on top, like bronzers and concealers, it just sort of, I think it kind of messes with the formula and it just sort of, I don't know, it turns it into kind of like a papery, you know how like concealer goes sort of papery underneath your eyes? That is what the general area of my entire face is looking like. Here's a little close-up so you can see. Hopefully the camera is doing us justice and showing you, you know, just how much texture I've got sort of here on my face, all under here. Just doesn't look as smooth as it normally would. Let's give it a go. Let's do a quick little touch up because you guys know it's always interesting to see. Now, I'm just using leftover velvet finishing powder that is left on this is our perfecting sponge, but any sponge will do that you want to use. Yeah, it does sort of absorb the oil and it goes back to that really pretty finish that it initially had when I first applied it, like less textured looking, more seamless with the skin. Oh, that actually looks quite pretty now. Let's go one step further and actually set this down. This is our velvet finishing powder. I'm just going to press that in all over my face. Oh my God. I mean, to be fair, loose powder low-key can fix the worst of foundations. Like it just really smooths everything out. But that, there's no denying, that looks really nice again. Ooh, yeah, I'm not mad about how that's looking. Okay, Hourglass, you've earned more points. So I absolutely stand by what I first said. This is a very, very natural, lightweight, invisible formula. Low coverage, quick and easy to blend. You can hardly see it on the skin and it will make your skin really, really glowy. But if you are looking obviously for a long wear formula, and if you want a skin tint that is a long wear formula, I would definitely go for the Maybelline one. Like that formula to me is just seamless, perfect, beautiful, amazing. Oh, also the L'Oreal one, the L'Oreal True Match Hyaluronic Serum. That one is just amazing as well. But overall, I'm going to continue testing this. I'm going to try it with different concealers to see if I can get it to sit a little bit better and a little bit less textured. Different primers. I may even try mixing this with some of my other foundations just to see if I can get it to really gel, because I really do love how lightweight it is. But I want you to know this one is lightweight and tacky and sticky on the skin. It's not going to give you lightweight with like a matte satin finish. You are going to be able to feel it on the skin. And if you're an oily girl, you're absolutely going to need to powder this one down. But I hope this video answered any questions that you had about this brand new formula. Obviously, Hailey Bieber has perfect skin. She's got perfect skin. Like I can totally see why she is obsessed with this and why this is her favorite skin tint. Because if your base is already flawless, you can put on a lightweight, glowy formula like this and not have to worry. Me, not so much. I'm working with a little more, just a lot more. But I love you guys heaps. Please let me know if you've got any more questions about it. I love you heaps and I'll catch you in the next video.